Okay, good. Um, I think I pressed the button to be able to hear you, and literally I missed it. And so your words didn't come through. Thank goodness. So nobody had to hear your profanity, sir. However, hello everybody and welcome to Kingmaker Season 3, Session 3. Woot woot. I don't know if you boys realize this or not, but it's scheduled that Kingmaker on YouTube will be caught up by next Wednesday, with me releasing one session a day for about a week and a half to 2 weeks. I'm finally going to have it caught up for next Wednesday. So if you, Jake, I think you had people that were inquiring about that. Yay. And for everybody else, yay! I finally caught it up. And the good news is, Kingmaker did not miss a single part of a single session, which makes me very happy. Regicide was a rocky road. But, you know, we figured it out.
Who really cares about that, right?
Yeah, no Tesh. It's one of those things, you know. You could see all about updates on Tesh over on Twitter. You know, he posts a bunch of stuff over on Twitter about his you know, journey through life and whatnot. All I know is that we love Tesh, wish him the best, and hope that he's doing well. But we'll focus on the Evil Kingdom.
It's not evil.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I would thank you not to incite the common masses to think that, because they are the common masses. If you tell them, they will.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying that they just accept?
From my flock.
Are you just saying that they just readily accept the words of their divinely chosen leader? Is that what you're trying to suggest there, Neil? Is that what you're alluding to?
Unless you lead them astray.
Unless I lead them astray. Okay. Where's astray?
Anywhere that I don't lead them.
Oh, okay.
Or one.
You know what? Let's just get back in game. Neil, you like to talk about how incredibly well you do your last time on Dungeons and Dragons. Last time on Kingmaker. Why don't you give us a quick little recap, from your perspective, of course.
Okay. Let's have a think. So, the chosen traveled to the.
Oh, pardon. Yeah. The music's still loud. Sorry about that. They should be fine with volume, but the music was loud.
What guy?
Because your volume's way higher than mine. Go ahead.
To the camp of the free folk, where we negotiated with the band of people and their leader, who was called. Let me double check this 1 second.
Yeah, it's just Neil being quiet. Okay, let me switch my things back.
Yeah, turn me up. Come on, dude.
Nope, you're literally. You're in the yellow.
Maybe I can turn me up then. 1 second. Let me have a look. Bam. Is that better?
Whoa. Yes, that is a big
Too loud?
change.
Bit less?
No.
Bit less?
I would go down a hair less because you sound almost bassy.
How's that?
A hair more.
How's that?
Okay, yeah, now you sound like Neil. Before it sounded like Neil with some like bassy oomph, you know?
I
Bassy
have
oomph,
bassy
oomph, oomph.
It's actually how you hear me. Where the hell did I put the notes? As I stray further and further from the light of Lady Arenda, my notes so suffer. Where did I put these notes?
Okay, maybe we should just.
No. This is very important.
Okay, Jake, you want to do a recap of last session, or should I just get Norway in the call and have him do it because he does a great job?
Ishak Crumb, the hetman of the Free Folk. She raped Rayrick in exchange for information.
Excuse me?
And sold the Chosen 1,000 soldiers with spears. And agreed to help us for money. So we have gained 1,000 extra soldiers. She also tried to persuade us to let her go and loot Harrod and Ostrad, which are allied with Haude Gwenh. However, we saw through her plans because she's basic. And we took the captured Beltrin back to Kurzwall, where he met with his mum, and many thanks were had until the foul and dishonourable Beltrin fled using illegal magics and left his mum alone in our dungeon. distraught, crying. At which point, Juan and Rayrin argued because Juan is borderline abusive to our um, little slaves that don't need torturing but got tortured. Um, and Rayrin came clean about the whole devil thing, and Phaedril was introduced, and Juan got himself a fancy new sword, which Hansa is currently molding like Play-Doh into an axe.
Yep. Literally, we're kind of leaving off with exactly that. It was not quite as easy as molding like Play-Doh, but definitely a lot easier than you expect. Literally, the first hit of the hammer on the anvil, once it was appropriately heated up, the thing just started bending. Like, it was like, whoa, this should not be this easy. Awesome, let's get this done. I love the, because he's a basic bitch. That was pretty funny. All right, so why don't we kind of kick back up with that? You guys are literally still inside. If you were able to follow Neil strolling on, you guys are still inside Kurzfall, and the plan was to head south to join the army of Valoran. And so you guys, after that one extra day passing, I actually already updated the minis onto the map. So I'm going to switch over to the kingdom map really quickly. So remind everybody where everything is. So switching to the kingdom map for everybody. Bam. Everybody, yeah, rock your body, yeah. All right, so right on the kingdom map, just once again to show you really quickly, you have obviously Haude Gwenh is right here, pinged red. Haude Gwenh is right here. That's going to be where their primary force is. They may have forces elsewhere, but we have not seen any scout alerts to tell you where those other places may be. You have the Army of Vigil is inside actual Vigil. You have the Army of Valoran is meeting right here. I just have layered over, but still joining at that camp. The Free Folk and the Vroga's army right over here. This secondary shield that happens to be in the top left-hand corner, that actually happens to be the Free Folk base camp. Where it is that their non-combatants are kind of like situating themselves in a safe area so that they don't get caught up in the war, but they can always pick up their tents and move if need be. Up here, the Riders of Wherein were just flipped green because they're going active as of when you guys leave your town tomorrow or whatever it is today. And then lastly, the Riders of Wherein, because you guys have a lot of small armies, which is pretty balla. As of this morning, where we're picking it up, have finally gotten their way all the way to just north of Astrad. So today is literally a day that war can transpire, okay? So that's going to be a fun thing to go over. So this is where things currently sit. Since our last session, I should say the last two sessions, had a lot of traveling from Kurzfall down to Vigil, all the way over to Rid, out to the tent, spent the night there, back to Kurzfall, and then you're going to be heading back down to Vigil. Actually, today is, I believe, top of my head, I believe today is day 6, which means after your characters travel tonight, tomorrow morning equals day 7, you guys are starting to pay a lot of consumption for the armies you have active, because week 1 would have finished after today. But we don't need to worry about that quite just yet. First, let's go into what's happening. In Kurzfall, I don't think there were any other conversations you guys need to have, aside from with Hinta. So we're going to pull the camera down to the smithy, where bright and early in the morning, one probably slept like a baby last night. But bright and early...
He was there.
Oh, that's right. He was aiding her. So one is exhausted, eye red-rimmed, but heart brimming with joy with the work that that is done with Hinta, trying to aid her in this. One. What's his other name? What's the other guy's name? Neil slept like a baby last night. What is his name? Rayrin slept like a baby last night. He was able to get some good rest while he was working on that hammer, that axe. So you, Neil, Rayrin, the next morning are going to be able to, you've gotten all things ready. You know, the two of you were intended on heading out today, but they were occupied, to go down and join Hinta and Juan in the smithy that has a few people that are there aiding in the efforts. Underlings, not even necessarily an apprentice, just people to throw coal and whatnot to the fire. Wood, my apologies, to the fire and whatnot. So you go to join them, door opening up, and you can see the two of them are standing there, marveling over what Hinta is literally just finishing polishing. She has already pulled out the appropriate oils. She has a rag in her hand, and she's properly oiling the axe that she has just put the haft on. Less than 10 minutes past. She's just put the haft onto this axe head that you were working on. The axe, Neil, is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, what it is that she's holding, this has a large, broad head to it, something that has a bit more heft to it, something you would expect a weapon held by somebody of one stature to hold in his hands. There's a lot of heft to it. Maybe a lesser man couldn't carry it in one hand. Though one could, he usually wields it in two anyways. The marbling of that secondary metal that we talked about, working its way as like veins through the primary metal of the axe. It just looks incredible. It has almost a hypnotic like pattern to it because of how it just like spiders about here and there. Once again, just like looking at the side of a gorgeous slab of meat, right? Would be a butcher's dream. You're looking at the two of them as she's literally finishing polishing his axe and handing it over to him. One, you are tired because you are up all night long praying to Vroga to aid in this, mostly casting guidance the entire time to make sure don't screw it up, 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 to have this finish up. She's tired as well, but she's invigorated by the work. She is a hard-working woman, loves to do stuff like this. Working late into the hours for this kind of a thing is like, a cup of coffee with a glass of jolt. She hands the axe over to you for you to hold it for the first time in its completion. How do you take it? How do you handle? Do you say any words?
What's the haft made of?
So the haft of the axe.
Iron wood. Iron wood.
No. The haft of the axe is actually made out of. Do you think they have ironwood? Come on.
No, we have iron root.
Yeah, that's something else. Actually, I'm going to get to that in a couple moments, which is why we're having this RP moment. So the haft of the axe. What kind of wood would you want for that, there, Jake? Because this is 100% your design. You were there with her the whole time. She was just the hands to your mind.
English oak. English you? As long as it's English, I'm hearing.
Okay. While he's thinking,
I don't really know, Scott, so I'll leave that up to you.
is everybody just having a hard time hearing Neil? Because I see it over in chat. Sorry, we were talking before, so I wasn't reading. Is everybody
quite a little while ago? But can you guys confirm?
It's 5 minutes
I'm
ago.
Talking now, so you can listen to my lovely voice.
Because these are the old conversations, but then
I might turn myself up and then just talk quieter. Yeah, I'm just gonna tell Scott. You're just gonna have to suffer me. Listen to me extremely loudly. There you go.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. You can get loud for me, baby. But I have your volume up. It just is at the point where it's going to start really peaking off through OBS. But I have you well above where I usually have you. That's fine.
I got some software updates for my audio, and it's...
Yeah, I had an update last night, even though I prepped the stream for today.
How you say pisashi?
Okay. All right, so you go ahead. One, let's not detract any further. Take over. You're grabbing the haft for the first time. How do you take it? Do you say words and describe it to us? I describe the metal. You describe everything else.
Jeez, I wasn't ready for this, Scott.
You weren't ready to be creative while playing Dungeons and Dragons? Oh boy.
Do I sound different now?
Hey, I told you I woke up like 20 minutes ago. You got to give me, a little bit of time.
Exactly. You should already have wood on the mind. Come on, Jake. Let's go.
As soon as you wake.
One takes it with one hand, and he's been there praying all night, so he probably says one final prayer to Vrogar, something about using it in his name in the battle to come, as he takes the axe in one hand. It is a very well-made, well-crafted axe. The metal is probably a little bit darker as well. but it's halfway between like what a normal battle axe looks like and like an orcish made battle axe, which, while crude, is a bit special to one because it's from the Barren Lands, where he grew up at a point in time. So yeah, so he's going to take it with one hand, say a final prayer, and then just kind of look at it and marvel, I guess, in the work Hinter has done.
When you say crude, how it is they have it in the lands. Now, I've described this beforehand. I believe you have as well. Not Josh though; he's a bad DM. Do you describe like what a typical orc battle axe, like what inspirations of a crude orc axe do we see on this one?
It's kind of a bit jagged in places, I would say. Not as clean cut as maybe you would like a normal battle axe.
So like in areas where you would expect it to have like smooth, like a swoop and stuff like that, it almost has like a hammered in look, like a spot where like a miss hit would have affected the design. Okay, cool. It's one of those things where you can imagine when you had the conversation, it actually almost became like a she started frilling up. She hated the idea of making something so ugly, but you guys argued over it because you were like, I am the chosen. Like it was actually legitimately a heated debate because she didn't want to make something so ugly. She's like, fine. I'll give it that design, but they're going to be blood grooves, okay? Because we need to have, because she couldn't just have it be ugly. It was like ugly with function. So they almost act like blood grooves. So if you cut it into somebody, you can pull it out a little bit easier. You know what I mean? So you're like, actually, that works! Now get to it, Hansa! And I can imagine.
Also, there would be an inscription either on the blade or the haft, which would be orcish letters that spell out Firebrand. That's what he's calling it.
Firebrand?
Yep.
There you go. Firebrand.
I knew it'd be that soon.
He didn't do Flaming Tongue, so that's okay.
I wanted Snaga Slayer, but
I mean, that's fine too. You can Snaga Slayer. But anyways, moving on. So the other thing that you guys gotta kind of go over, and you of course bring this to bear, and you see this as well, wherein you probably pay it no mind. You probably just like, yeah, that's nice. Mine's better.
I mean, obviously, mine's better. Are you asking us whether we have something else to do? Because you didn't ask that in those words that you asked.
I was. Do you say anything on your approach watching this transpire, or?
Okay.
I'm giving Neil a free pass to talk. He usually comes running. Yes, it is my time.
I worry about that in TTRPGs. I talk too much.
What, you?
Yeah.
Him?
Right? Me never.
Does Neil talk too much?
Wherein would he spent the evening in the shrine to Lady Arenda, and in the morning he makes his way over, relishing the pace, the quiet before the storm. Kurzful is eerily quiet right now, like more quiet than he's probably seen it since it was first established.
Yeah, usually there's construction, and
we've got so many people missing that like half the usual jobs probably can't be done as normal. And he'd walk over as like one's wielding the axe, nod and say, "It suits you. A good fit. Well done, Hansa."
She is looking at the axe as you say that, and then nods to herself, nods to herself, a little smile for herself as she's like appreciating her own work, and she's like, "It's ugly, but in a beautiful sort of way."
Your words, not mine.
She'll like clear her throat and then look over at you and say, "We haven't spoken in some time since the two of you took your gifts from me and ran off to war. There are so many details that haven't been gone over in a long period of time, and I imagine that you won't be spending much time here in Kurzfall. But jobs still need to be done. I imagine as part of the war effort, am I going to have a task? Am I supposed to stay here and work away on things as usual, or am I supposed to head south with the camp and lend with the repair or construction of weapons and armor that are down there? I'm only one person, but I can do a pretty quick job. You've seen my molds.
We've asked a reasonable amount of you recently. You've been traveling for a long time. You are not a military individual, although I'm sure you would do well wielding a weapon, and I'm sure you would be useful around camp.
Or there was that iron that was procured at some point in time that I've been itching to work on.
Very well. If that's what you would desire, then you may stay and work on it.
I can't work on it without a task, though. It is yours, found in your kingdom by your people, and pulled out for me to fiddle with. I have one request. After I'm done crafting whatever it is that you would like, I would like to have the scraps.
I see no reason not to indulge you on this.
What would you like crafted? She says. She takes a step back and looks you down and up. You're rather scrawny. Perhaps a suit of armor could fit you with the amount of metal we've procured.
You do still owe me a set of armor, you realize.
I haven't had time to work on that one. I could do that first if you'd like. We discussed that, a year ago? She says, thinking, like, genuinely thinking, like, how long ago was that?
It has gone. The things have happened at quite a pace. As you can see, however, I am about to go and be part of the largest battle I ever have, outfitted in the leathers of a slaver.
She, honestly, I don't know about one, but she legitimately chuckles at that one.
If I am to die, I would rather not have it be because of this shoddy armor. Neither would I have myself cleaned up and displayed
Point taken.
in the armor of a slaver.
Okay, I will make the armor that you and I had discussed some time ago. I can have it done probably in a week or so's time, and then I will work on the other iron. It's just something that's going to take more time to work on than. Very likely, I'm going to finish with that metal round when this war is ending. I mean, this war can't drag on for too long. There's only so many people involved.
I'm not entirely certain when this conflict will come to its head. Can you make it half a week on the armor? Pull a few all-nighters? I know it's a lot to ask, which is why I'm asking as a friend and admirer of your work rather than a chosen of the realm.
She like nods away as you're saying that stuff because like fancy words mean nothing to her. She actually has a mutual respect for you and cuts through that shit. She like nods away, like finish saying your flowers, and then she says, "I'll do it, but I want another deal. Get me some of the finest pipeweed that you can." And I'm going to need some aids that. And she looks over towards where the people that were aiding last night aren't there any longer. They've been able to go home and pass out now. She looks at where they were earlier, so this is more of a to one. And I need some aids that aren't afraid to break their back a little.
You can have Glugmug.
I thought he was already here. Wasn't that his job?
He was supposed to help rebuild the place, which he did. Yeah. She's like, the chatty orc?
Isn't he a hobgoblin? Let me check my notes.
I think. Oh, that's right. The person that commissioned him originally said orc, and I suggested change it to hobo. Yep. Hobgoblin. Yep. Hobo.
He makes almost the best barrels in the land.
Oh, almost. She thinks for a second. She's like, yeah, I'll take him. I'll take him and a few others. She holds her hand out and says,
"Remember him being good at motivating people."
Ha! It's true. She holds her hand out and says, "We have a deal.
If it keeps me alive.
No promises."
Yep.
And with that, she'll actually start heading out. She'll literally start heading out, and you can see her not heading out yet. Like as you guys are kind of like finishing whatever conversation you might have there, getting your stuff together, to leave or whatever. Ray maybe filling you in, whatever the details might be. You can literally see her, she's finishing putting away. She's the kind of person that doesn't finish a job and think, I'm tired and going to bed. She cleans up first. So you can see she's in literally the middle of the task of not only cleaning up the equipment that she used to craft the axe that you currently have and shape the haft into the one that you have, but she's also starting to pull out the details and whatnot she needs for the quilting that she needs to make the armor that you talked about beforehand. Yes.
Raymond, before he goes, he'll go and place a gold coin on the tavern on the anvil and say, "Have a proper breakfast first."
She looks at it to acknowledge it, and she's like, "Safe travels."
He'll nod.
Okay. And you guys are able to head out. It's one of those things, where as you're holding this axe in your hands, and of course you have an axe cover. You know what I mean? You don't generally leave an axe cover on it unless it's raining out or something like that to protect it from that kind of a thing. And obviously she gave you the appropriate oils or whatever to put on it as you need to for proper care. But as you're holding this gorgeous, it's like a brand new toy. You're not going to put it down. You don't buy a brand new car just to throw it in the garage for 2 weeks, You don't get a brand new phone and not send it to your configuration and download a bunch of apps or whatever, right? So you, as soon as you step outside holding this thing in your hands, as soon as you step outside in this crisp spring air, where there's a lot more air outside than what's currently inside, the thing just starts to really glow and get this warmth comes off of it. You can literally feel it throwing off warmth because of what happened beforehand, and it gives off that nice reddish kind of glow as soon as you get out there. You can feel this. You can literally light a cigar with this thing. You know what I mean? It's pretty nice. So you can see that kind of flaring up as more oxygen passes by the blade. Do the two of you need to say anything further, or is it we can kind of pull out and head on our horses to the south?
I don't have anything to say.
Wow.
I don't either. I will, before we leave though, take the axe to the shrine and more or less present it there.
Rub it on Vrogar's face. Melt the statue. Oh god!
And then he'll be ready to go.
When you present the axe to Vrogar's shrine, do you literally lie it on the shrine? Do you hold it over it? Do you embed it into the shrine? What is presented there for your idea of your faith?
Well, he's not two who just attacks the shrine all the time. So he probably just put it on the altar.
He's literally fuck, I gotta get Hinta over here to fix the shrine every time 2 visits. So I'm sorry, you just place it on the altar?
He'd place it on there, keeping his hand over the top while he says, another prayer.
Do me a favor when you do that, because you're doing this final actual prayer. It's probably not a quickie. It's probably a legitimate 10-15 minute prayer. And Wherein, clearly number 2 of this kingdom's leadership, can go and get the horse for you. Roll me a religion check, please. I don't remember if you're any good at this. I just remember you failing a lot.
Yeah, I always fail.
I always fail my religion
all the time.
Yeah.
To be fair though, I've got an infernal -10 behind the scenes you can't see.
Oh, we've still never finished the fixing the macro for the API for this. That's a sexy roll. You guys currently have 2 luck dice, and I currently have 6 daddy's dice. I'm going to announce because we don't have the macro functioning as of right now, so we can't just click the button. Okay.
Yeah, I went to click it, but it's not there.
Do you want to modify that 28 to get to the realm of what is considered
godly? Da-da-da-da-da-dun.
Well, literally, again, I use this reference all the time. If you can break 30s consistently, you can gain the attention of divine beings or otherworldly beings.
One definitely breaks 30s, quite commonly, actually.
Not on religion, though. Always.
No,
Do you-
not really.
Do you want to use a luck die just to break that 30 for this religion check?
I would.
We need to find out how many we have. So, and like having the blessing of a war god might be useful.
Okay, so fun fact, not only did it get you to a 32, but it also, Steve just gave you guys one. So it goes back to that we need to find out how many we have. I just told you we have 2. So get you back to the 2 I just told you have, because Steve gave you
I
one.
listen to you, dude. Come on.
So anyways, you have a 32. You place the shrine on the altar, and you pray to your god, and you pray to Vrogar for
You're
blessings,
so
so on and
strong.
so forth.
You placed the shrine.
And when you look up at the thing, you look up at it, and literally your eyes have power behind them that they don't typically do. You can look up from the from like where your head is kind of bowed before the altar, where you're saying your war chant like prayer or prayer like war chant before the altar. And when you look up, you get the sense that you see an aura coming off of this thing that you could not detect beforehand. You can feel an aura coming off of this blade. You think to yourself for a few moments, because this is something that you've never been able to do before. You've not been able to see auras like this before. And you think for a few moments, kind of like searching your mind, searching your faith. And you come to realize, yes, there is in fact fire that comes off of this thing. Not fire like in the sense of, oh, look at the flame, but like an otherworldly fire does eep out of this thing. And clearly that is so. But there's also a fire within. Not a typical fire, but like a stirring. You're pretty sure there is an evil that exists within this blade. Something that was able to escape the view of wherein and his simple magics before, you are able to see with the power that was just given to you by your God. Given to you as a gift because you've just given one of the greatest prayers in the name of your deity you have ever done, after spending an entire night of praying over this thing and blessing it with all of the magics that your God can give into you all night long. It has given you the insight to see beneath the layers of this blade and find that there is, in fact, an inner evil that exists here. Deep within. Hidden. Deep within. You don't know exactly what it is, but you do know that it exists there. Do me one more favor, sir, as you're able to see this. I'm going to allow you to continue your prayer. Roll me one more religion check, por favor. There it is! There he is. We missed Jake. Jake, we missed you for a minute. I'm scared. I thought Neil was rolling your character sheet. So anyways, you, sir, are looking at this, and of course you discover everything that I just said. That there's definitely layer upon layer upon layer of like molten steel kind of like within there, whatever that metal is, so on and so forth. But deep within there is that like hidden evil at its core. You know this now. I'm not saying you can't still wield this weapon in the name of Vroga, but you definitely get the impression that this weapon does not serve Vroga in any sense of the imagination. At least not now. It's up to you what to do with it now, because you literally were up all night long crafting this thing and named it and so on and so forth.
Well,
Yeah.
I guess its chains must be broken. Just saying.
Seeing that.
Nobody liked my joke with the Sith code. It worked perfectly. Nobody liked it. Not even so much as a ha. It was a good one. Such a good one. It's fine. Whatever. Go ahead, Jake. Respond.
Seeing that and being able to see the aura behind it, he
Licks it.
he's slightly wary, but he picks it up and he has in his mind that he's going to try and break this
The
weapon.
axe is a metaphor for wherein. I see. Clever, Scott. Clever.
But he will talk to Rayron when he sees him about it.
So Raywin meets you outside your temple. After it's one of those things where you probably continue praying, trying to search through your feelings, search through your emotions. The natty one, by the way, nothing bad happened from that. It was still a 10. That wasn't a bad enough roll for something bad to happen. Just so you know that you know of. But eventually, you would hear Raywin open and close the door behind you. You'd hear him sitting inside of a pew or whatever, waiting. A couple minutes later, you'd probably get up and be able to walk out with him. I imagine you probably don't even necessarily have to approach the conversation as soon as he walks in. It's up to you. You guys could probably approach it on the road, because we're going to get on the road now and start heading out, correct? Mm-hmm. So when do you speak to Rayrin, and what do you say as you're heading south towards the camp?
He's probably very quiet because he's contemplating a lot of things. But then once they're out of Curse4, he'll turn to Rayrin and say,
Listen, Anno.
When I presented this at the temple, I was able to see, not like I ever have before, but I could see an aura around this blade. And deep within it, I sense evil. Pure, dark evil. And I think I may be able to change it, though I don't know. I'm going to try, but I don't know if your, should I say, little friend was telling us everything. Whether he knows or not, maybe.
Where the fuck is Phaedril?
Phaedril is usually within, like, if you call to him, because he'll come to you pretty quickly. So as you're leaving the city, he will he'll join you, because he'll like notice that you're leaving now, and so he'll join you. If you want, you're gonna, I imagine, ask for him. So
not just yet.
Okay, cool. So he's not with you at this moment, because he's not with you every moment. You guys keep talking. Go ahead.
May I see the blade?
He nods and he takes it out and he hands it to you.
You said you saw an evil. You sensed something. Where was it?
He probably explained how it was that he's seen it. More or less saying that he thinks with the power of Rogar directly was he able to detect within the blade the energy there.
Within the blade itself. Perhaps it is using the natural magics of the blade to disguise itself from all but the most powerful perception. Like a seed of sorts.
Could be.
Rayrin's going to inspect it again, using Detect Fiendish Presence.
Go right ahead. Thank you for already blooping it in chat. So you're looking it over, and once again, you do not detect anything on the inside of it.
Okay.
But again, I do have to be clear that
I'm not detecting an evil outsider.
It's not even necessarily just that, though that is a factor. It's also there are ways to skew that without higher magics, or ways to unskew the skewing. Go.
Interesting. I wonder whether this evil inside waits for something in particular, like a seed of sorts. If it is doused in enough blood, fed enough souls, perhaps it would react to something. On the other hand, each one of its actions would be done under the holy guise of Rogar. Each one of its actions would be dedicated to your deity. Therefore, it functions as a holy weapon, at least on the coming field of battle. This might prove anathema to the core of its being, in which case may well dispel the evil within. However, it's difficult to say. Perhaps it would be worth asking Phaedril, though I fear he would be less than forthcoming with the information willingly.
We we do know now. We do know that there is an evil there. Maybe confronting him with this and his treachery may help us get some answers. I will have 3 and 2 look at it, and I'll try and work something out to see if I cannot bend it to serve Rogar's will. But I think maybe asking the imp is wise.
3's wisdom seems to be a good pool. However, I'm not sure what you would gain from asking the bonehead. And yes, I agree, we should ask Phaedril. He is promised to us, to provide knowledge. He cannot not provide knowledge willingly. He can attempt to withhold it, but if we incite the terms of the contracts, I see no reason that he would be able to resist.
One nods.
Wherein would summon.
It's one of those you're not necessarily like, come to me, because it is a free-willed thing. So it's as you're leaving the town, the city, as you guys are riding south, he will join you within that first hour of your leaving to be with you. Because he checks in with you multiple times a day, but he doesn't stay by your side. You imagine he's off to whatever mischief he gets up to. He's not chaotic, so not like mischief, you know. Anyway, so within an hour or so of heading south, you would eventually have literally a dog like running up by your side, because you guys aren't running on horses, right? So we'd have a dog running up by your side, and it would be kind of like running side by side with you for a little bit. And unless you called him immediately to your shoulder, within say like a half hour or so of him even running alongside your horse walking, it would probably just jump up, getting sick of moving, and would turn into a bird to perch itself.
Rerin would comment when here, because he comes in this mangy dog form, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Rerin would say, can't you show up with something with a bit more pedigree?
Once again, it's so unusual because dogs cannot speak. Their mouths, their lips, their tongues cannot move in such a way to be able to speak the common tongue. So when he looks to you in one of these other forms and starts speaking, it's always unnerving because you see the jaw and the lips and everything moving in ways that make no sense. I mean, it's not like a Disney movie where it looks cute. It's like, no, it actually has to move differently to be able to speak, and it's always unnerving. Anyways, he looks at you and says, I am on the outside, those I serve on the inside.
That's kind of you. One here, he's noticed something about the blade you brought. Perhaps you could provide some information on the matter.
It's very powerful. It does a good job. And it'll come up and like perk itself on your shoulder, so it's not like you yelling down to it.
Apparently it has some sort of evil at its core. He detected it in the church of his deity.
Oh?
Perhaps you could tell us exactly what that is.
I told you where I found it.
Yes. You must have some idea. Make an educated guess. You are supposed to provide us with information. I already have my theories, but I would rather have your insight before making them.
Don't go quoting terms or deals with me. I understand what my job is, and my job is to provide you aid, but not necessarily aid in everything. However, I see what you're saying here. I gave you the blade. You want to know what I know of it. I told you before, and I lied not. I found it inside the temple of the fire god. The temple of fire, I should say, not temple of fire god. The temple of fire. I found it inside the temple of fire. That is true. What is it that you want to know beyond that?
This evil inside, what is it? Surely you must know. Some have... Well, let's say perhaps you share a kinship with it.
Well, the temple should have blessed it with fire and given it so it was not so perhaps of its original form or anything. This has not been touched by devils other than maybe myself or other creatures. I don't think so. However, it's comprised of a unique metal.
Go on.
It's a metal not of this world. It's a metal that can only be pulled from elsewhere.
You say that the evil that resides within is due to its elemental nature?
Yes. It's again a very unique kind of steel. But I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure.
How might it manifest? What's this metal's name?
I honestly don't rightly know the name of the metal. There's many names and many tongues. Some may call it fell steel. Some may call it varashin. You know, there are many tongues and many names, and its exact properties I do not know. But there is rumor of how it comes to exist.
Please don't tell me it's a blood sacrifice.
No, nothing like that.
Continue.
When souls are taken by a decent number, when souls of no small number are taken from where it is that all things material come, well, it leaves behind a mark there. It leaves behind tainted steel. The steel becomes this. It's powerful. It's strong. Very difficult to break, if at all, by lesser metals. It has within it an inner flame that has then been breathed upon and coated over by the flames that you might find inside the fire temple, giving it great might.
This evil within, can it manifest if you feed the fire?
This is not meant to put out anything but flame. It only is meant to aid one in combat. It desires to kill. It desires to kill as many as possible, I believe.
And say you kill 10,000 people with it, and then it outputs a large flame, a flame that takes the form of an elemental. Surely that still would be flame.
Shakes its head. I don't rightly know this metal that well. I don't rightly know all the properties of that metal. However, you're suggesting that as you kill with it, that it produces more flame. I don't think that's how it works. I honestly do not think so.
Perhaps you could ask someone more learned.
Perhaps you could.
I think that might be more suited to one of our servants. He looks pointedly at Phaedra.
He nods and he looks back towards the city and says, "Which do you think perhaps knows details of things like this?"
You can contact people, things, not of this plane.
I'm bound here.
Yes, but surely you can contact them. How else would you be able to summon the terms of our deal or enact a boon on command?
If you're speaking about the one with which you have a deal currently, they are always listening. They are always listening for their name to be called. Beyond that, however, I am bound here, so unless there is another currently visiting, there is nobody that I can contact. Perhaps, maybe... there are the others.
The others?
We barter. They incite.
Speak plainly. I understand there are many different types of you, but I am yet to learn more, which, rest assured, we will be writing a book on at some point.
There are many different places other than this place. Some of them quite comfortable, some of them less so. There are others, not quite like myself. We barter with mortals. They incite mortals.
Insight.
Did I just ping that I went
No.
live?
No, you pinged ages ago.
Discord says I just pinged. Oh, that's weird. Okay, go ahead. My phone's being weird.
Would I know of what he speaks?
Maybe
Possibly.
knowledge religion or knowledge planes. Either of those works.
Can I make the roll as well?
Yeah, of course. You're listening to the conversation, and it's a plain language.
I see what you did there. It's a plains language. Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum-bum.
Actually, one would get it way more than Wherein. Wherein, you know he's talking about non-devils. One, you know explicitly he's talking about demons.
That's what I thought, yeah.
Well, so one would just say that he'd be like, he's talking about demons.
How could they help us in this instance?
You're asking for somebody that might have more information than myself. I have information because I've lived far longer than you'll ever imagine and probably longer than your soul will last. But nonetheless, I don't know all. And I could find something that's perhaps even older or has more might than myself. No devils walk a deer that weren't here before. And those ones, they are going to be well enough ferreted away. But I could find ones that have no deal with you. They leave behind a presence that can be detected by someone who's keen.
I see. I am not the most knowledgeable on these creatures, but I feel that introducing more creatures from outside of this realm to a deer would be a poor decision.
I would agree. Dealing with devils is one thing, but demons are a whole nother thing.
Oh no, they're a pleasant sort. They are. I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, I get that.
It would probably be easier to ask the elemental in the cave itself once the war's over.
Nods. Certainly, there would be an elemental down there. No reason being vague. There is.
I think it probably poses no threat for now, and as you say, hopefully it can be cured.
I will try. I'll see what I can do. But definitely, if we win and we survive, it's something for further consideration. Then
I agree. Letting sleeping dogs lie would not work in our favor.
although it will be fed, it will be fed a lot.
The imp nods and says, I found the temple, I found how things were run, and I'm looking forward to guiding you to get there and through the various details along the way. But, I thought you'd like the gift.
One just nods at it and sort of like he's got in his own head. He wants to break that evil. He wants to turn the blade against whatever it currently serves, and he wants to have it serve Vrogar and Vrogar's servants. So that's his plan.
We could have like a Crusader-esque thing where before every battle you get down on your knees and pray over the axe, and after every battle you get down on your knees and lick the blood off of it. That way we can make sure that like we.
I mean, every single one of its acts are gonna be like acts of Vrogar, so it will only be a holy instrument. Which, if it does have evil within it, surely will punish it. Yeah,
well, the first part of that, Scott, I will do. He will actually pray and stuff, but he's not licking the blood off the axe as much as you may want him to.
What? Okay.
Scott wants him to lick the blood off something else.
All right. So while we're heading south, along the way, you guys actually do pass by where the free folk had set up their non-combative camp. It's pretty easy for you guys to ride through there quickly if you want to. I don't know if you want to avoid that entirely, if you have no desire to pass through there or see if there's anything of interest or note. Or if you're like, let's just pop in real quick. Scott, is there anything of interest? Or like, no, we good. Let's just...
Sure, Scott, is there anything of interest?
Okay. So I imagine like probably you guys would ride up to there. You could try to move at a quicker pace to get down to your home, down to where it is that your army's going to be, whatever. When you finally get to the free folk camp, probably just slow down and slowly walk through the area and whatnot. And you can see that they do have up here, a lot of shops are set up. It's not far from the army, so people can always, whoop, up here if they need to trade and buy supplies and sell stuff or whatever it is to the or their own army can kind of like resupply themselves because it's not far away for where all these things are. But you do happen to come across a particular person that you had seen once prior, a woman that sells scrolls. You guys are riding by and you notice her, and of course she notices you as well. And I imagine it's one of those things you just like roll your eyes, you just don't want to deal with this woman. But she actually calls out to you and she says, hey there, I just wanted to apologize for last time. I didn't understand. I didn't know. I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to offend.
Oh, it's the alchemist.
Correct. The one that was going to sell you scrolls and the like, yeah.
Wherein would just nod his head graciously. Raise a hand.
As an apology, I figured I would offer you a discount on the scrolls that we have here. Did you still want that scroll of Identify? Perhaps, you buy 2 others, I'll give you that one for free.
That's very kind of you, but as you pointed out, it would leave you out of pocket.
She kind of like gives you a quizzical look, like, huh?
What's she not understanding here?
Correct.
Out of pocket means...
I'm American. You're
Out
speaking
of pocket.
British.
Out of pocket means you're losing money.
You're losing on the deal. Gotcha.
Yeah. Damn, Scott.
Well,
Scary.
you're speaking British. I don't know. You say the phrase piss off. That means like, oh, did you make somebody angry? It's like, no, that means go away in an angry way. It's like, oh, okay.
That means both. I could be pissed off, or I could tell you to piss off, or I could say that you are pissed off.
Oh, cool.
Come on, Scott.
Cool. Moving on. So, do you stop to trade with her, or you just keep moving on?
I mean, I wouldn't want to be like rude. If she like walks out like in front of us and is like, woo.
She calls as you guys are slowly making your way by, but she doesn't like get in front of you and is like, look at my wares. If you guys keep going by, it's fine.
I think Ren would look to one and be like, I don't want to be rude, but we are busy. On the other hand, there might be something that might save some lives.
He nods and says, is there anything that you need?
Kingmaker Season 2 playlist on YouTube. Any reason why you have a random Comedy Central video in it? It's a really good question, Dovaki. I don't even know how I could have a Comedy Central video on my playlist in YouTube. That doesn't even make sense.
Oh, because it's just a playlist, isn't it? It's just a public playlist.
Yeah, but I don't think can you and I honestly don't know this. Can you put somebody else's video in your own playlist?
Yeah, because you're just generating a public playlist. It's not these are my videos, right?
Oh, I've always just used it as these are the videos I'm putting up. That's hilarious. Maybe I added one when I was half asleep, or I fall asleep watching videos on YouTube all the time. So maybe I pressed a button by accident because I can control YouTube from my phone. So with my other app,
Quick delete now, Scott.
I wonder what Comedy Central video it is because I watch a lot of comedy. So
I've got Shield of Faith, Cat's Grace.
I don't either. That's hilarious. All right, I'll deal with it later.
I see no reason to have a browse. More scrolls or potions to increase one's vigor, strength, dexterity, or otherwise
remember that
protect
video.
you. Would be a good idea.
She nods and says, protection scrolls. Like I have scrolls for protection if that's what you're looking for. Come, please come here. And she waves for you to come into her shop with her so that she can kind of look over stuff with you really quickly. So very quickly, what she ends up pulling out for you for very simple spells. 1 second. There we go. So Injin ends up pulling out for you for spells that you can grab. I'm just trying to find what that one. Shock Shield is one of the spells that she pulls out as a scroll. Punishing Armor is another one she pulls out. And the last one she pulls out is Protection from Chaos.
Punishing Armor, Pathfinder.
Correct. Well, Punishing Armor is very short. Coat yourself in a thin layer of energy that turns back non-lethal damage on your attacker. And Shock Shield is like the spell shield, but a little bit less protection. Instead, it hits them. Okay.
And it hits you as well. I know Shock Shield. The final one was...
Protection from Chaos.
Protection from Chaos, Pathfinder.
Jim Gaffigan's funny. He's just, he gets redundant, so I can only watch him every several months or so. Because, God, he gets a little,
Protection from Chaos, if it's not too expensive, might be good. And it's castable by an Inquisitor.
It's a first level spell. First level spells are usually, like 100 or so? 1 second.
I don't know whether you'd be tempted by that.
And she's going to give you that other one for free when you... Sorry, I just talked over you, Jake.
No, you're right. I wouldn't be able to cast it because I don't have the spell. And
you need it. It doesn't just need to appear on your spell list.
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Magus has how many spell slots by max level? Is it 6?
In what? I have 5 5th level spells.
That's where the cap out is 5th level spells?
Oh, I don't know. Let me double check 1 second.
I think it's 6, like a bard. Just confirm that.
Pathfinder Magus. Pathfinder ends up with 5 6th level spells.
Okay. Cool. So then a first level spell actually only costs. So she would sell you the first level scrolls for 30 gold a piece. So you would get 230. So you'd spend 60 to get 2, and then you get that one that's worth over 100 for free.
So she'll sell us Protection from Chaos and say Shock Shield.
Yep, for 60, and then she'll give you the Identify for free.
Sure, we'll take that.
Okay. So she does that deal. So you hand her the 60 gold. She hands you the 3 scrolls and whatnot. I don't know if you still intended to use that Identify scroll or not. She hands you the 3 scrolls, and she's kind of like...
It's always useful to have one.
She's getting them kind of like rolled up together or whatever to put inside of maybe you have your own scroll case, whatever it might be. She's getting them all prepared. She does a transaction with you, and she's like, again, I'm so sorry about the misunderstanding from beforehand. I hope you can accept.
You have already made more than amends. I should thank you.
Of course. I didn't realize that the Hetman had already claimed you, and I didn't want to offend either you or her for the transgression. So please, anytime you want to come back and utilize the shop, you let me know, and I'll be more than happy to aid you.
Thank you. I'm sure that I am about equal in worth to about 100 gold. He'd nod and then mount.
And then with that, you know, let's get out of here. Yeah.
Mounts, pulls out his revolver, and just rides off.
Oh, truly American style. So you guys are of course heading further to the south. Now, why don't we take a quick little break? And when we come back, because technically it takes just over a day or so, unless you guys really push yourselves, for you to get all the way to the Armory of Valoran. Why don't we, when we come back, we're going to have another thing to discuss very quickly, somewhere to the east of here, something that we need to take care of. So why don't we take a quick little break, and then we'll come back and do that. So see everybody in just a few minutes. I'm going to finally go grab my breakfast, which I have waiting for me. All right, be right back. Oh, I'm using the wrong transition. Hold on, wait. This one. This one we usually use. There we go. Now it's okay. Bye.
Oh.